Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. Today, I want to make a video to understand JOão Felix. It seems like it could be a waste of a video considering the links in this January transfer window suggest that Felix could be on the way out of Chelsea just 6 months after Chelsea buy him from Atletico Madrid. I want to check today, have a look at whether or not we're missing a trick with Felix, whether or not Maresca might be missing something with JOão Felix. If you watched this video that was uploaded yesterday, I've mugged off Joey with that screenshot there. I didn't mean that on purpose, mate. I'm sorry. But within that video, we were discussing the Chelsea January transfer window. We were talking about Felix potentially going to Aston Villa or any other clubs. His agent has reportedly been looking around, which is kind of understandable when JOão Felix this season at Chelsea, if you take a look at this here, this is the baseline stats in the Premier League. 12 appearances and only 14% of them are from the starting 11. 1 goal, 1 assist. And look, the whole JOão Felix to Chelsea narrative, we've got to address that as well to kind of start with this understanding as to why he's probably not been playing. And then, of course, I'm not just going to sit here and give my opinions. We're going to go through the stats as to why there is a big mismatch in the profiling between what Felix actually is, what he actually does, and quite frankly, what Maresca wants, expects, and probably needs at Chelsea. And I tell you what, those two things from the top end, they just simply do not align. So remember back to last summer, we're going to talk about that briefly now. Chelsea offloaded Conor Gallagher to Atletico Madrid, didn't want to sell him to a Premier League club. Atletico wanted him, play under Simeone. Gallagher's career can probably go somewhere from there because maybe he wasn't wanted at Chelsea or maybe we just wanted the profit, but we're not going to talk about that more today. As a result of that, Atletico Madrid were willing to pay what Chelsea wanted for Conor Gallagher's sale. And as a result of that, Samu Omorodion, who is a striker, a proper striker some would say, has gone on to do great things. Having not moved to Chelsea, he went to Porto, and Omorodion is doing very well indeed. Instead of that, Chelsea were then offered the pool of players at Atletico Madrid. Obviously, some, no, you can't have them. JOão Felix was one that again was not wanted at Atletico Madrid. And if you look at this here, right, this is the transfer history of JOão Felix, and it's absolutely incredible. In 2019, in July, he was sold from Benfica to Atletico Madrid for 127 million. Fast forward 4 years, and within that 4 years, right, we're going to go through this later in the video. Not a lot happened. So he's loaned to Chelsea. Chelsea pay an 11 million loan fee, and then he obviously goes back. Then he goes on loan again from Atletico Madrid to Barcelona. Barcelona back to Atletico. And then you're looking here, right? Atletico Madrid sell JOão Felix, who's still very young. Let's not forget that JOão Felix is still only 25 years old. But he's sold to Chelsea for 52 million euros. Immediately there, we are looking at a player who, top end, you could say, has never quite fulfilled his potential. And then if we also look at this, these are the wages for JOão Felix. You're seeing here, these numbers, we're talking in excess of £100,000 a week forever. He's contracted to Chelsea, as you can see here, until 2031. And he'll be on £130,000 per week, which is 154,000 euros. When he signed for Atletico Madrid, he was on nearly £100,000 more every single week. So obviously, when you're paying a player that much money, there's an expectation. You've got to be performing at a certain level. And when it comes to strikers or wingers or 10s or second strikers, what is he? What is he? But regardless of definitively the answer to that question, output is something you're going to be measured on. It's not just going to be about, can you complete your passes? Do you make your tackles? Caicedo, we talk about, does he make tackles and interceptions in the middle of the park? With Felix, the metric that he's being measured on is his output in the final third. So let's actually focus on those metrics that JOão Felix should probably be judged on. Looking here at the leaderboard appearances, awards and honours, this is a website called FBref. Best ever goals season in the Portuguese League in 2019. Best goals and assists the same season, predictably so. And when we scroll up here for JOão Felix, unfortunately, it doesn't really get much better for him, which implies to me that Felix, ever since that move from Benfica to Atletico Madrid, has actually been, more than anything else, a financial burden where no team really wants to take the responsibility to allow Felix to become whatever it was or is that he is supposed to be. Look at this. Signs for Atletico Madrid. First season, 6 goals, 1 assist in the league. 9 goals and 3 assists in all competitions. Moving on to the next season, the numbers, they're still not great, are they? For a player that cost 127 million euros, this just isn't enough. And that is why I'm led to believe that right now, Chelsea are the ones that have actually got a problem on their hands here. Because when you look at JOão Felix on the eye, we're going through stats today, so it's not just about the eye test. But you can't disregard what the eye test tells you. In any given moment, JOão Felix can do a lot of things that many footballers could only dream of doing. But unfortunately at Chelsea, he's coming up against this guy. And you can probably guess who this is here. 33 goals and assists. Yeah, that was last year. We're talking, of course, about Cole Palmer. And after 23 matches of this season, playing in a position that JOão Felix wants to be in, supposedly, he's already got 14 goals and 6 assists. And it would be very unfair to sit here and compare Palmer this season to Felix this season, because Palmer's getting the minutes that JOão Felix could have foreshadowed that he would have wanted. But unfortunately, when you're a footballer that is being sold for the amounts of money that he's being sold for, when he's on the wages that he is on, you are going to be judged on the output of what you do on the pitch. So to understand why JOão Felix isn't getting minutes at Chelsea, you've only got to look at these numbers, the basic numbers of goals and assists for Cole Palmer at Chelsea Football Club. And top end, JOão Felix, even when he's getting the minutes, isn't delivering anywhere near enough. So I guess the main question right now for Chelsea is, how does Enzo Maresca, if JOão Felix stays at Chelsea, how do we get the best out of this player that has seemingly never really fit anywhere that he's been? Now, I'll say one thing about JOão Felix. He's not just a footballer. We know that. He posts videos to his YouTube channel. The videos are pretty cool. They're very lifestyle focused. We can tell that he's got a load of other hobbies potentially that aren't maybe football. And that's cool. But that's about as far as it goes. I'm not going to be judging a Chelsea player based on how cool they look off the field. So I think we need to look at the shooting statistics here for JOão Felix, because this figure here, SOT percentage, is shots on target. And when it comes to converting chances, right, if the shot isn't on target in the first place, fun fact of the day, you ain't going to score goals, my friends. So every season of the career of JOão Felix since he was at Benfica, we're talking about shots on target percentages being below 50% in every single season that he's playing in, which tells me he can be erratic in front of goal, can snap at his chances in front of goal. So yesterday, Joey and I were suggesting that maybe with Nicholas Jackson not firing right now, with Chelsea not seemingly going out there to get that proven clinical goal scorer in this January transfer window, maybe you could say JOão Felix could be an option in that position. But if we take a look here at Nicholas Jackson and we look at the shot creating actions, not even just the shooting, because right now I'm pretty sure you guys don't want to know about Nicholas Jackson shooting because you've seen enough poor finishing in recent weeks. But looking here, right, we're talking over 3 shot creating actions per 90 minutes for Nicholas Jackson during his whole time at Chelsea. And when we take a look at JOão Felix with the same statistics here, these numbers, yeah, okay, they're a bit higher at Chelsea this season than Nicholas Jackson, but when Felix is playing, he's obviously not playing as an out-and-out striker. So that would suggest to me that when we're looking at shot creating actions, Felix isn't the guy based on the shooting percentages we just saw a minute ago with how many shots he gets on target. You'd rather Felix was the one creating the opportunities as opposed to finishing them. But again, at the same time, Cole Palmer's numbers here, these are just astronomically higher than João Felix in every sense of the word. So Nicholas Jackson right now is obviously going through a bad patch of form. And I'm looking at Enzo Maresca and I'm thinking, well, Mark Guiu's very young. Yes, a lot of Chelsea fans will probably think, yeah, we should probably look at Mark Guiu a bit more right now because at least he makes the effort. When you bring in Kunku on, you can tell that mentally he's checked out at Chelsea. But I'm trying to figure out here if Enzo Maresca could even consider playing João Felix as a number 9. And unfortunately, all of the metrics suggest, based on the history of what he's done in front of goal, and simply whether or not he can actually hit the target with his shooting or not, it suggests that that's not even an option for him either. So I said I wasn't going to do it, but unfortunately, to back up potentially why Nicholas Jackson is still getting all of the starts, we look here at Nicholas Jackson shooting. 14 goals last season, 9 already this season, and again, those shots on target percentages are still significantly higher than that of João Felix. So I can understand why Enzo Maresca probably isn't willing to drop Nicholas Jackson, give João Felix minutes as a 9 or a false 9, which would actually end up changing probably the way that we'd have to set up and play. But right now, João Felix is once again proving to be a very expensive player on high wages at Chelsea that the manager doesn't know what to do with. So we can sit here all day talking about, well, Chelsea shouldn't have bought him in the process or in the first place. But the fact of the matter is, he's there. He's there right now. So Enzo Maresca is either going to have to just keep not using him and then we just let João Felix's value go down and down and down again. And then in the summer, Chelsea have to take another hit for a player that we probably shouldn't have bought, that we sell probably for either the same if we're lucky, if not less than what we bought him for, simply in the summer just gone. João Felix right now is a problem for Chelsea Football Club. And I think so many of us potentially get so caught up on that eye test idea when it comes to Felix, because there is no denying that he can do a little nutmeg. He can see things on a pitch that sometimes other players cannot see, but Chelsea have clearly already got that guy in the side. So the only other option that we could probably consider would be on the left wing. But at the same time, Maresca's not fancied that before either, because Jadon Sancho has come into the club at the start of this season, and Jadon Sancho is actually doing pretty well as well. And obviously when you're playing on the wing, it's not just about scoring goals and getting assists. There's also stuff like carrying the ball, making dribbles, taking players on. These are the stats of Jadon Sancho. As you can see here, we're talking top percentile performance level stats from Jadon Sancho in that position. To give João Felix some credit, there is also a lot of green lines here, to be fair, when it comes to non-penalty goals per 90. But again, that's kind of been padded up by the fact that Felix has been playing a lot of his football against weaker opposition in the Europa League, which is his problem right now, is that he's not getting games in the big matches. He's not playing in those Premier League games. So when we look at Felix's stats here, unfortunately, so much of it is padded by the fact he's playing against weaker opposition. But even still, comparatively to Jadon Sancho, when it comes to like the carries, the take-ons, the numbers are just still not as high. So when I'm going through all of this today and I'm trying to think about how Maresca can possibly fit João Felix into a Chelsea team more, even when we're talking about misfiring Nicholas Jackson, I'm not sure we can justify putting João Felix up front. As much as it's like well, when Jackson isn't firing, we do anything to see him out the team and we just want somebody else there. But I think maybe with Felix, it could just be if Felix comes in, then we've just got someone else to blame for not converting the chances up front. So fundamentally, the facts clearly are, from what we have seen today, Chelsea misprofiled when we went and bought João Felix. I'm the same as a lot of you lot, right? I think Felix is a lovely player to watch, but using the word lovely doesn't get me 3 points. It doesn't put a smile on my face on a 6 things we learned thumbnail. And that is what we're talking about when it comes to Chelsea. We're talking about going from 2nd down to 5th, 6th in the Premier League table and not knowing if anything's going to be fixed. And JOão Felix is a player that in this January window is kind of baffling that we're considering offloading him. But is it really as baffling as it looks? Unfortunately, statistically, it probably proves that it's actually not as baffling as we think. So, moving forward, I'm not sure even if it would be worth a risk putting Felix through the middle, or would it be? Does he just need a run of games to feel that confidence? Is he that much of a player that just needs to be loved, to play well? But like, come on, this is football. You're 25 years old, and unfortunately, you can't stat pad against Europa Conference League opposition and expect for that to convert to Premier League minutes. I'm sure there's a lot to be said as well for the stats that we can't see in this video today. I'm sure Felix has got those wonderful moments on the training ground, but at the same time, I'm also sure that there's probably other players that are fighting harder, proving to Enzo Maresca that they deserve to be out there when it comes to West Ham at home at the weekend or on Monday night or in games that have gone by, unfortunately, than JOão Felix. So I don't want to sit here and say to you that I think Felix is a bad player. I don't think he is. I just think he's a player who probably football clubs and managers and teams that he's been in don't understand exactly where he fits in a modern footballing world where roles are so important, diversity and versatility on the pitch is the #1 thing. I've seen countless times JOão Felix going in for a tackle. He doesn't mind getting stuck in. So I don't think it's about the work rate with JOão Felix. I simply think it's about output, and the numbers do not add up to confirming that he should be on the pitch week after week after week. So, another thing I want to leave at the end of this video. Is there a way that JOão Felix could potentially be coached into being maybe one of Maresca's 8s? Because passing-wise, he's pretty good with that. And we don't need to see the stats to show that. He can spot a pass, he can ping a long ball, and he's very good in those tight spaces, linking up with other players. Could it be that JOão Felix could be nurtured into a role similar to what we see of Enzo Fernandez right now, to share that workload so that Enzo's not always looking as though he's knackered and playing with a niggle or a knock? Could Felix become that? I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments down below, because right now, as much as I would love for him to come good at Chelsea, to offer us something, to be a solution, to be an answer, I just can't see it, which kind of makes me understand why he might leave Chelsea in this window. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoy this different type of video, smack a like on it, subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.